In this video, I want to talk about outsourcing because outsourcing causes a lot of confusion for people, particularly if you're a first-time entrepreneur or you've never run your own business before. Outsourcing can be a bit of confusion, so I want to clarify that in this video. So what is outsourcing? Well, Wikipedia defines it like this. It says that in business, outsourcing involves the contracting out of a business process to another party. The concept of outsourcing came from American glossary outside resourcing, and it dates back to at least 1981. Outsourcing includes both foreign and domestic contracting and sometimes includes offshoring, relocating a business function to another country. Financial savings from lower international labor rates can provide a major motivation for outsourcing or offshoring. So if you're a small business person, if you're an online entrepreneur, then to outsource or not to outsource? That is the question, with apologies to William Shakespeare. Now, there are three main reasons to outsource in a small or online business. And the first one is to bring in expertise that you don't have yourself. You can't do everything. You don't know everything that there is to know about every aspect of business. So outsourcing is a good way to bring in this expertise that you don't have yourself. Another reason to outsource is to save time, because obviously you can only concentrate on one thing at a time. So therefore, if you can delegate a task to somebody else, they can be doing that task while you're doing something else. And the third reason is to save money, and I'm going to talk a bit more about that later on. Now, let's talk about bringing in expertise that you don't have yourself. And the thing is, you're probably already doing this and you don't realize it. For example, unless you're an expert in tax law, it's best to have an accountant prepare your tax return. And you may do this already, and that's outsourcing. And an amateurish looking website can give a bad impression of your business, so it's best to hire a professional to design it, unless of course you're running a web design agency yourself. But if you're not, and you get a professional in to do it, well, that's outsourcing too. So you're probably already practicing outsourcing to a certain extent, you just don't realize it. Now, when it comes to saving time, as I was saying earlier, you can only do one thing at a time. So if you can delegate a task to someone or delegate a task to something, then that's a type of outsourcing. And the third reason, as I was saying, is saving money. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs and small business people don't quite get outsourcing to save money. A lot of people think, why pay someone else? If I do it myself, it's free. Well, that is just plain wrong. And the reason it's wrong is because you're charging yourself by giving the time. So how much is an hour of your time worth? The way to figure this out is, over the course of a typical week or a typical month, work out how much productive and non-productive time that you're putting into your business. Now, what do I mean by productive and non-productive time? Well, productive time equals directly revenue generating time. Anything that you do in your business that directly generates some revenue for it. So we're talking things like research and development, providing services to clients, doing product launches, that sort of thing. That's productive time because you generate revenue directly from these actions. And non-productive time, well, that's everything else. And then you need to work out what an hour of your time is worth. So you have to work out how much revenue those productive tasks have generated. If you provide a service, of course, this is much easier than if you sell a product because you can simply work out how much time you spent. Let's say you're a website designer. You can simply work out how much time you spent designing a website for a customer and how much you charged him or her at the end of the day. If you sell a product, then of course that can be a bit more difficult to work out. But you want to sort of think about how much revenue each of those productive tasks has generated over the course of that week or the course of that month. Then you want to divide that figure by the number of hours that you've worked. And the result is what an hour of your productive time is worth. And this figure may surprise you. You're going to find that your time is worth a lot more than you think. So if all of your time was spent productively, how much better off would you be? Something else in deciding outsourcing is to decide what's best done by you and what's best done by others. Now, what's best done by you? Well, obviously, anything that directly generates revenue, as we were just talking about, and anything that requires your personal skills or attention. And best done by others, well, that's things that you're not an expert at, things that are methodical and or can be broken down into a process that you can get somebody else to do, anything that doesn't directly lead to a profit, and anything that's going to cost less than you doing it yourself, depending, of course, on what an hour of your productive time is worth. And you can do lots of different types of outsourcing. You can outsource to people, or you could outsource to processes. For example, you could have an autoresponder to send out emails instead of having to email each person individually from scratch. That's a form of outsourcing. There are lots of different sites out there where you can find people to outsource stuff to, and also software and processes that you can bring into play to outsource some of your tasks. I'll just cover some of the more popular ones here. I suppose some of the most popular outsourcing sites, if you want to hire people to outsource things to, are Freelancer, which you can find here at freelancer.com, and Upwork, which you can find here at upwork.com. And on both of these sites, you can hire freelancers, some from your own country, some from different countries, to help you in your business and to do tasks, like we were saying, that you're not good at, or that it would be cheaper for you to offer to other people to do. And on each of these two sites, you basically do a deal with the freelancer and you negotiate a price. So it's all variable. Another site is Fiverr, which is Fiverr with 2Rs.com. And basically everything on this site is $5 or combinations of $5. So if you're looking to find someone to do just a really short, simple job, then looking on Fiverr is a good move. I talked earlier about using autoresponders to send out email so you don't have to do it all yourself. A couple of good sites to look on here are MailChimp, which is mailchimp.com, and Aweber, which you can find here at aweber.com. They both do pretty much the same thing. If you're looking to outsource to software, then a good site to look at is CNET, which you can find here at cnet.com. And you can see they do have different editions for different parts of the world. I'm in the UK, so it's showing the UK edition, but you've also got the US and Australia, China, France, Germany, Japan, Korea, and they also have it in Spanish. And you can find lots of software here. Often it's made by small developers, and so you can actually get a very good deal on the software from CNET. Or if you're on a tight budget, you can look for alternatives to paid software solutions on this site here, Alternative 2, which is alternative2.net. And you can see they have software for Windows, Mac, Linux, and a whole lot of other stuff here. And most of these are crowdsourced, and most of these are either beta versions or it's given away free, and it's well worth pursuing. So there you go, just a few ways that you can outsource, spread the load, get more done, and scale back on what you actually do yourself.